Now if you would like to use your Wii U in your car, it's really simple to do because it can be powered from the 12-volt power supply from the cigarette lighter. So if you have a look down here, this is the thing that converts the 12 volts into 240 volts because we're in the UK, and you can get them from eBay and Amazon relatively cheaply, normally under £30. We'll get you a basic one. So as you can see there, I've just got my Wii U tucked away up in here. If you want to put a disc in, obviously you're going to have to take it out to put the disc in, but the problem is when you use a disc, you've got more chance of damaging it if it's getting shaken around the place. So if you're going over a bumpy road, there is a chance you could damage the disc, in which case then it probably would be best to use digital games unless you're not too bothered about damaging the disc. But if you see there, obviously it's wireless to the GamePad, so you can use this anywhere in the car. So if your children want to play it in the back when you're driving, then it's going to work absolutely fine because the signal's easily going to go from there just to the back. So it can be useful if you're going on long journeys to use it kind of similar to a Nintendo Switch again. Just have this playing in handheld mode like this, and most games you will find will work on the GamePad. To personalise the look of your GamePad, you can get caps for the analog sticks, the thumbsticks. So here we have a Mario and Luigi one, and with these ones here it's mainly just to change the look. They are slightly more grippy, so you could argue that it might be nicer to play with. But if you guys know about the Elite controller, you will know that you can change the thumbsticks for taller versions. So for example, that's the standard one. I'm just going to take that one off. If I was to put this one on, you can see the height difference between this one and this one. And what this allows is more precise movement, because we can actually move it quite a bit up here and it will only move a small bit here, because obviously the taller it is, you can move it more up top with a small movement down the bottom. So the idea is on a first person shooter that you can get more precise movement. Well, you can actually get caps that will fit the Wii U that will do a similar job. So for example, this would be a standard one here, and then this is a taller one. So in theory, if you were to use this, it could possibly help with gameplay. Not much, but it might help a little bit. Let me just show you what it's like when they're on. So on the left analog stick, I've just put this little cover on here, which really just looks just like the analog stick that's already on there, but it could be useful if you're having wear on it, then pop that on and you know it's going to protect it. Then on the right one here, I've put this one on here, so it's going to give it extra height. And if you have a look, you can see the difference there between it. And you know, when you're playing with it here now, it does feel a lot easier to move the right one. So it is easier to move around because you've got further travel. So when you're moving your thumbs left and right, it's going to travel further on this one here, hence the reason you will have more precise movements. If you have your flat screen TV mounted up on the wall because you want to hide away all the cables, you might well have your Wii U console hidden away in an AV cupboard somewhere, in which case then you might have completely forgotten about the sensor bar, because when you're using your Wiimote you have to point it at the sensor bar so you can select things up on screen like I'm doing now. Well, it's not a problem because you can always use a wireless one. Now normally the sensor bar is connected to the Wii U console via a tiny little cable, a long thin cable. You haven't got to worry about hiding that away because if there's no route for it, then just use yourself a wireless one instead. Now if you have a look here, you can see I'm using one at the bottom. I've just got it stuck on with double-sided tape. You've got a little on and off button because this is run from battery, so when you're not using it you just turn it off, and then when you need it you just turn it on. Now obviously if you can run the proper one, do that, because then you won't ever have to replace the batteries here. But if there's no option, you can still use your Wii U just fine, and it's just going to run off 4 AAA batteries like this here. To get the best picture out of your Wii U, you've got to use a HDMI cable. So if your TV supports it, always use this cable here, because that will definitely give you the best picture and it will carry picture and sound down the one cable. If you're connecting up to an older TV, or for example you might have replaced this with a Nintendo Switch and then you're moving this to a different TV in the house which might not have HDMI if it's very old, then you do have other options. For example, this one here, if you use the AV port, which is the bigger port just to the left of the HDMI, then you can use composite, which will be red and white for the sound and then yellow for the picture, but it's not going to be as clear as it would be on HDMI. Slightly better than composite, but not as good as HDMI, will be component. And that's this one here, and you have red and white for the audio, and then you've got 3 for the picture, which is going to be red, green and blue. So it's nice to have various different connections on the Wii U to accommodate different TVs. If you would like to take your Wii U camping or somewhere where you haven't got access to electricity, then we can power it all from this unit here. So this is just an extra big power bank. We have normal USB ports that you can charge up your phones, etc. But we also have access here to an AC outlet. So because this is a UK one, we will have access to 240 volts coming out of here when we hold down the AC button here for a few seconds. So then we can power the Wii U from this here. If we want to charge up the gamepad, we can just get a Wii U type charging cable that terminates in a USB. So we just plug one end into there, and then we'll plug the other end of it into the top port of the gamepad, and you will see now it is now charging. If I unplug that, it will stop charging. So there you go, you can use your console and charge the gamepad up all from this power bank here. Now, if you wanted to play the game on the big screen, you're going to struggle bringing along a TV as well, or a monitor. So what you can do is get yourself a mini projector, and I've just got it up onto the cupboard doors there. Obviously, the further you take it away from the item you're projecting to, the bigger the screen will get. So it just gives you different options to play when you're away from access to electricity. If you want to, you can use loads of different controllers on the Wii U, even though they weren't designed to work on the Wii U, when you use various different adapters. So for example, if you were to use the Magic NS adapter made by Mayflash, or the Brook Super Converter, the PS4 to Wii U one, then when you put these two together, you can use so many different things on it. Now I'm going to show you some clips from a long video I did on this, just to show you various different controllers working on it. Now another potential upgrade to the Wii U is Homebrew. Now I haven't got Homebrew on my Wii U, so I can't show you it working. But if you go online, you will find so much information about it and lots of helpful tutorials. Now with Homebrew, it doesn't all have to be about piracy. So obviously a lot of people do use it to try and download the games for free. But there's loads of other things you can do on Homebrew which are just useful things. For example, if you want to connect various different controllers up to it, instead of having to do adapter after adapter after adapter, then by using Homebrew, you've got more options to connect various different controllers for other systems onto the Wii U. Also, for example, with the gamepad, some games don't allow you to have the game working on here. Splatoon, for example, it has to work on the TV. Well, if you use Homebrew, then there's an option to get it to work on the gamepad itself. So it doesn't always have to be about piracy, and a lot of you might just like the different options that it has available to you once you put Homebrew on your Wii U. Another way to increase the battery life on your gamepad is to put a high capacity battery in it. So this one here is 2550 milliamp hours. So let's see what we get in the pack. Good thing is it's really easy to change the battery. We only need to undo a couple of screws. They even give you a little screwdriver in here, so if you haven't got any tools at all, you'll still be able to do this job. Right, so here's the battery here. So first things first, we have to turn off the Wii U system. Right, so that's now powered down, and then if we flip it over, you can see we've got two little tiny screws here that we need to undo. So that's here and here. So I'm just going to fast forward through this bit now. And with these, they're the type of screws that are still held in place, so you're not going to lose them. And we just lift them up like that, and then you can see that we've got the battery here. And this one here is only 1500 milliamp hours, so you can see that this is 1050 more than that. And then we've got a little connector up here that we just need to pull down. So nice and firmly, just pull that down like so. And now we've got our new battery. We're going to put it in the same way that we took out the old one, so with these grooves facing towards you. So put it there like so, and just push it up like that. And now you can see now we're just going to put the battery in this way around so the writing's facing you. And it's a nice snug fit. Now we just need to put the lid back on. And do up the two little screws. There we go. So it's a nice simple way of increasing the battery life on it. There we go, so that concludes this video. Hopefully you will have found one of them or more of those things useful. Maybe you want to try out a few of them yourself, or maybe you want to try out various different combinations. You might want to do the Wii U portable with a projector, for example. So please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care, bye now.